Bole Sri Gajanan Swami ki Jai, Bole Sri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. Please all stand as we are about to begin. Please clasp your hands, close your eyes, bow your heads as we are about to begin with our opening prayer. In your minds, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And I'm sure most of us are here of a Hindu background, so we do our Hindu prayer. But if there's anyone who is here who is looking on, is of any other religious persuasion, in your own way, you offer your prayer. So concentrate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Hari Om Tat Sat Om Sri Vigneshwaraya Namaha. Om Gananang Tva Ganapati Gwang Havamahe Priyanang Tva Priyapati Gwang Havamahe Nidhi Nang Tva Nidhipati Gwang Havamahe Vaso Mama Ahamajani Garbadama Tomajasini Garbadam Om Yang Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutastu Navantatibyai Savai Vedihi Sanga Parikramo Upanishadrika Yantiyam Samaga Dhyana Vasti Targati Namansa Pashiyantiyam Yogino Yasyantang Navidhusura Surganadevaya Tasmai Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bole Sri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. Offer the flowers before there. Sit down, everyone. Come back right here. Come back right here. All right. So this evening we have all assembled here, members of the family, near and dear ones. So we have also those who are looking on to take part in what we refer to as the Anteshti Karma, the final rites in the life of this individual, as we know him to be Paul. Okay? Pramechand Gopie, also known as Paul. And I'm here on behalf of the Guru of the family, His Holiness Pandit Hari Prasad Pramechand Swaha, to perform this function. And I also must say, very close, to members of the family, so it's also a privilege for me to be here, to be able to perform at least some sort of actions, on behalf of the family towards this departed individual. So just to mention a few words as we're about to begin with this evening's function. And the bhajan tells us, ek din hame bhi jana hai. That one day, all of us, we have to go. Now, when we say we have to go, the Lord never indicated how we have to go. But He said we have to go. And then our bhajan also tells us that aye bhi akela, jaye bhi akela. Do din ka zindagi hai, do din ka mela. Aye bhi akela, in this world I come alone. Jaye bhi akela, in this world I go alone. Do din, we're here just for a day or two. And when we say a day or two, we don't literally mean today for tomorrow, mean a short period of time. Right? This entire world is like a big marketplace. We all come based on our karmas, we do what we have to do, perform our duties, perform our responsibilities, and then life goes on. Now the important thing here is for us to understand is that none of us, we have control over death. As the bhajan tells us, when Raja or Rank, Anta Ekasa Hoi, king or pauper, at the end of the day, all of us have to depart the mortal coil. I would say death is a great leveler. That death doesn't discriminate between high or low. It is for everyone. But the point about it is that we have to understand as individuals that death is a part of life. Death is an aspect of life. And every single thing that happens to us is because of karmas. And in every individual, Pandit or non-Pandit, politician, citizen, whoever it may be, our karmas decide our outcome. Now it's important for us to understand that no one has control over our destiny as it may be. Whatever we have done in our past life, give us this life that we have. Whatever we do in this life will be here for the hereafter. And if the justification for that is that if we go to chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Bhagavan makes it very, very clear to Arjun, oh Arjun, all these kings that you see here, including yourself and myself, we existed in the past. We are here today. I will not fail to exist in the future. So the reincarnation process is a part of life. And what happens as we go through the corridors of life is all based on our karmas. Now, situations like these, I always mention whenever we do funerals like these, they're very, very unfortunate. You know, it's a very touching, very heart-wrenching, as we say, to see individuals who, you know, this life that they live, proper life, you know, do all that they are supposed to do, live in good, healthy, and all of a sudden, things like this happen. It really hurts. But the reality is that all of us have to go through that. Nobody knows. Today's your turn, tomorrow could be my turn, could be any one of us' turn. Because you see, life is like a bubble. It can burst at any moment in time. So we always say that regardless of the situation, that whenever we come to funerals, that is like an example for all of us. Not like you're going to be like this, but death is the example. That all of us at some point in time, that we are going to be in a position like this. And we say death is the respect of none. And nobody knows exactly when it will come, how it will come, under whatever circumstance. This is why, as the bhajan again tells us, in the same bhajan Ayab Hi Akela, it says, the third verse tells us, Hari ki sharan tu huja dhyana lagaya, that on a daily basis, we find time, make that time to perform our responsibilities, to perform our duties, to offer prayer. And you have to say that about this family. Ever since I've known this family, you know, being involved with the family, they're always very, very prayerful. When the time comes, they perform their sacrifices, they perform their pujas, they perform their fasting, they attend temple, they have respect for the holy ones, for elders. We know all of them. All these, you know, the proper attitude of the family, of the individual also in particular. But what is important, as I mentioned earlier, is that nobody knows what is going to happen. And this is the real questioning thing. Even for a point, sometimes you question that, you know. I have to admit to you. I question that sometimes. You're doing all this good, all these things you're doing, you're making sure you live the proper life, you're doing everything. How come these things happening? Why these things have to happen? So that question, that question mark, as you say, that why will always exist. But what we need to understand, in order for us to, to sort of accept the reality of life, is that we must chalk everything, or we have to chalk everything up to karma. Like because of karmas, whatever happened to us, is what will be the outcome. And then, as Krishna Bhagavan again mentioned, this is not the end of life. As I keep telling every individual within recent times, whoever I meet, he didn't just born a human being just so. He didn't just happen to be a human being. For if there's evidence to prove that reincarnation is there. And as a matter of fact, one of the books that we always advise individuals to read is Many Lives, Many Masters. It's of a Roman Catholic psychiatrist that regressed one of his patients. I know how much lifetime behind? 86 lifetimes. So not one, 86. And that was how far he could have reached. So this to show that we were here in the past, and we were here existing however long, and every single lifetime that came up was a different situation, a different circumstance, a different challenge. You understand what I'm saying? So this is how all of us are. Nobody knows. Sometimes you can't remember what we do yesterday. You remember last life? Sometimes you ask, what we do this morning, boy? And I wonder, boy, I can't remember, huh? And like this morning, imagine last life. But the point about it, whatever happens to us, whatever we did in our last life, is what is the outcome of this life here. This is why the holy ones always tell us that nobody knows what will happen. We have to make sure that we live life to the best. And living life to the best don't mean eat, make merry when there I go bury. That don't mean, it mean like that. Recreation is part of life. We must, recreate, as we say. We must enjoy ourselves. But from the point of commitment, from the point of achieving human form, because there are 8,400,000 species of creation, out of which the human form is the highest. So this is why we say to born a human form, you have to be very, very fortunate. You have to have good karmas to born a human form. This is why you must always make sure that whatever we do in life, every single action that we perform is one that will guarantee us the hereafter another human form. Because there's what we refer to as transmigration. You do not live like a human being, well, obviously you're not going to get a human form. But I can say, with conviction, that the individual who I've known, I wouldn't say really, really good, but I know him a bit. I think I did puja with the family maybe 1 time or 2 times, so based on advice of Pramechand, etc. And knowing the family and involved with swaha, etc. That religious-minded individuals, people with commitment, individual commitment, perform their duties, perform their responsibilities. If they're not doing puja all the time or temple all the time, but at least it was in the mind, and this is what is important. So living such a life, having come to an end in such a way, whatever actions that you perform, the good actions will definitely bear fruit sometime in the future. And just remember one thing, as Bhagavad Mahapuran always tells us, advises us, that we have what we refer to as group reincarnation. And when you say group reincarnation, means that the soul do not come back far from the circle. There's interaction continuously. So not at the same exact form as Paul as you know him to be, but in some other form, but a continual relationship. Could be some grandchild, could be some friend, some relation, put it that way. But this is what Bhagavad Mahapuran tells us, that the soul doesn't come back far from the circle. So in this form, never ever 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 as Paul again, but the reincarnation process will take place, and in some other form, a human being, and another maybe boy, maybe girl, could be a nephew, could be a whatever it may be, but some other form to continue life's journey. So this is why when we perform actions, when we perform these sacrifices, it's to gain blessings upon that soul, wherever it may be. So that whenever that time do come, reincarnation process take place, blessings will definitely be upon that soul. So here, not very much could be said, because of the fact that, sometimes in this situation, not sometimes, all the time, in these situations, they really don't know what to say. As pundits, we talk and we say everything we have to say, but certain situations, you just don't know what to say. There's only so much you could say, and we could just advise. And the advice that we can always afford or give to every individual is that to make the proper sacrifices. So when you see time do come, you have done what you have to do. That's what is important. Because no individual, no man, as we say man, generic term, knows what the outcome of life is. But there's definitely going to be reincarnation. So as I end, as I'm about to perform the ceremony itself, just remember, this is an example for all of us. Death is an example. Death is but an aspect of life. The death, the party of one form is but the prelude to build up of another. Death in this form here, as we know it to be as Paul. But then there's, as I mentioned, the continuation process. Right? The continuation process. So, had this been said, the ceremony will not take very long. So we will perform that at this point in time. Take the water. Sprinkle water 5 times going down. Om 5 times. Om Madhya Mukha Gotrasya Si. Paul Pritasya Pramechand Pritasya Mriti Snana Shabnamita Snana Mayadiyati Tava Upatishatam Chandan. Put the chandan in pit area. Ring finger. Touch. Right. Om Chandanam Sam Om Chandanam Mriti Snana Shabnamita Adhyamukha Gotrasya Si Pramechand Pritasya Mriti Snana Shabnamita Chandanam Mayadiyati Tava Upatishatam. Right. Take by that. Vivada. Mala. O Madhyamukha Gotrasya Si Paul Si Pramechand Pritasya Prita Tattva Nivarnarita Mriti Snana Shabnamita Pushpamala Mayadiyati Tava Upatishtatam. O Madhya, right or wrong? O Madhyamukha Gotrasya Si Pramechand Pritasya Mriti Snana Shabnamita Gandham Mayadiyati Tava Upatishtatam. Om Madhyamukha Gotrasya Sri Pramechand Pritasya Mriti Snana Shabnamita Deepamayadiyate Tava Upatishatam. Om Yam Dware Mahagodi Andhatama Savrita Tatpalokanataya Deepo Yotava Upatishatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Alright. So you have whoever is running now, let us come up. Yeah, farmer, whoever, yeah. Whose arm? This is. And this lady is. And this one here. Okay. Let's just they put the flowers on after now. Give them flowers. So what you will respond at time, we perform pratna, please all stand. And as mentioned in the beginning, at this point in time, all that we can do really is to pray to the Lord and Master Krishna Bhagwan for the safe deliverance of the soul wherever the journey has to be. And at this point in time, as mentioned in the beginning, the only solution that we really have in life, not only this is the instance, in every idea of our life right now, the only solution to any issues in our lives is prayer. That is what is the important thing. For we always say the only reality is being attached to divinity. That don't mean this you have to give up your life and hook up in a temple and pray whole day. You do what you have to do, you fulfill your responsibilities, you fulfill your duties, you go to work, you do everything. But must understand that that river that attached to the spring can never run dry. Your flow is normal, you go through your daily life as normal, but you attach yourself to that source, which is the spring, which is the divine. And by that protection of divine itself, positive vibrations, then life journey becomes successful. And analyze it and see, no matter how strong or how big or how powerful you feel you are, everybody turn into prayer. Because it's the only solution. So you pray to Krishna Bhagwan that on this day, you're performing the sacrifice that is required according to our scripture. But only you, Lord, know what the journey of the soul is. And we ask of you to show your blessings upon this individual, Pramechand as we know him to be, right, that this journey may be one of success, one of peace. And may hereafter he be free from all pains, all sicknesses, all troubles, all negativities. May he be free from all of that as he continue life journey. For this sacrifice that he have made in his life, go through these problems, made that burn away most of his karmas, so that he be free in the hereafter. Okay? So in your own way, offer your prayer. I'm sure that most of you know the bhajan. We'll join. Jai Krishna Hari. Om Sri Govindaya Namaha. We join. Jai Krishna Hare Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ke dukh dur kare Jai 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 Krishna Hare. Everybody. Jai Krishna Hare Sri Krishna Hare Dukhiyo ke dukh dur kare Jai 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 Krishna Hare. जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो। जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो, और कोई न केवन वाला हो, फिर तू ही बेड़ा पार करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। एवरीबॉडी जॉइन। जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। पूरन कर दे सबकी आशा, वो पूरन कर दे सबकी आशा। जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे, जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। बोलो जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरस रहा, तेरा नाम की माला जपत रहा। तेरे दर्शन को, तेरे दर्शन को, तेरे दर्शन को मैं तरस रहा, तेरा नाम की माला जपत रहा। भव सागर से मोरी नैया, वो भव सागर से मोरी नैया। क्षण में जाय किनार हो, क्षण में जाय किनार हो। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। जय कृष्ण हरे, श्री कृष्ण हरे, दुखियों के दुख दूर करे। जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। ओ जय 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 कृष्ण हरे, ओ जय 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 कृष्ण हरे। कंसंट्रेट ऑफ पे कृष्ण भगवान। ओम अनाधि निधनो देवः शंख चक्र गदाधर क्षय पुंडरीकाक्ष प्रीत मोक्ष प्रदो भव। ओम कृष्ण कृष्ण कृपालु त्वम गतिनं गतिर्भव संसार नवमगनानं प्रसिर पुरुषोत्तम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय श्री कृष्ण देवाय नमः। ओम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोप कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री गोविंदाय नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम यं ब्रह्म वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतस्तुनवन्त दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदे सांग परिक्रम उपनिषद गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थितर्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं नाविदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं परमनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं सुवांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ज्ञानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुभवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम श्री प्रेमचंद प्रीत शांति। ओम श्री प्रेमचंद प्रीत शांति। ओम श्री प्रेमचंद प्रीत शांति। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्री कृष्णा शरणं मम। एवरीबॉडी, राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है। वी जॉइन फाइनल प्रेयर। ओम त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्री कृष्णा शरणं मम। प्रेमचंद प्रीत शांति Shanti, Pramechand Prita Shanti, Pramechand Prita Shanti, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Rama Nam Satya Hai. Bole Sri Krishna Chandra Ki Jai. Please be seated. Offer the flowers. So this brings us to the end of the religious part. I know that they have a few eulogies, etc. So what I will do, I will leave you all now and you perform your eulogy, etc. And at the end, you can offer your flowers before you leave. And as mentioned by Guruji, that when you go to the Bell Grove, you just offer simple Krishna mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You can put the canfa by the mouth just before you go in, not before you go to light up the whole thing. So just before you go in, I think one person could go inside here. Yeah, just light it and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and send it through. Okay? Alright, so that's it. So you take over from here. Alright,
Sitaram and good day to everyone who took the time to be here with us today. Dads are someone to look up to, someone to follow, someone to be proud of, and someone to brag about. Someone to learn from and respect, someone to listen to, and someone to talk to. Someone to try and impress, sometimes rebel against, and someone, most of all, with whom to share everything this wonderful life has to offer. I'm so extremely grateful and happy that I can convey I've had all this and much more with my dad. How can I distill 58 years into a few minutes? Firstly, I've known him for the best 25 years, and he was truly the most loving, gentle, hard-working, dedicated father. He was my personal chauffeur, my chef, debater, advisor, business, where he was utmost pleasant and dedicated towards his clients. Dad was never a man of many words. He expressed his love through his actions. My father could have been labeled as Mr. Fixer-Upper. Any plumbing, electrical, mechanical, household, and car needed fixing, Dad, you were so quick to do it yourself. Dad was always there for everyone, family, neighbors, colleagues, or friends. I can say confidently, on behalf of my cousins, he was an outstanding uncle. From the stories exchanged, he was their cricketer, cook, driver, person to climb the coconut tree. I truly will miss our car rides, where we shared thoughts, goals, emotions, and had the best of laughs and ice cream. Dad's love, it was unconditional, and this is an aspect I will cherish and take with me forever. Mom and Dad shared a blissful and wonderful marriage of many memories. A fond chapter was their vacation to Margarita and Miami. Both built and supported me to be the person I am today. 3 weeks ago, fortunately, Dad had the opportunity to share my graduation, and Dad, you became my first official patient. I know he would have been proud and content of where I stand thus far. Going forward from today, all I ask is that we keep pushing his memory, keep on getting better, living a good name. He's at peace, and I know he'll be looking out for each one of us. Dad, Mom and I am certainly going to miss you, and we love you. Those who had the pleasure of knowing him, his kindness and generosity will definitely be remembered. Thank you. Thank you.
So that was the first eulogy by Trishana, Uncle Paul's daughter, as all of us would know. And this is another eulogy done by Lalchan Gopie, the last brother of Uncle Paul.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for coming out and for your support during this difficult time. I'm Lalchan, also known as Noon, the younger brother of Pramechand. And on behalf of my brothers, Bon and Gussie, my sister Pam, my wife Asha, and my daughters Selena and Rihanna, I would like to share some of our memories with Pauline. As children, the four brothers were close and inseparable. I remember the times when we climbed mango trees, loved playing cricket, skipping stones by the river, and taking part in many sporting activities. One day, while playing cricket in our yard, we broke a window. So we had to go to the school playground to practice the game, which we did every Sunday morning. Pauline was always very competitive. We spent a lot of time helping our parents in their garden, and Pauline never complained when the chores were difficult. Humble and hardworking does not begin to describe him. He was always very dedicated to family life, and although he began a family of his own, that never put any distance amongst the siblings. He never hesitated when called upon. He played a very active role in my marriage to my wife, Asha. We had many family gatherings at Bon's and Gussie's home in Chickland, which he would always attend. I remember the adventures we had in Florida, on our trip to the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, and the cruise to the Bahamas on a boys' line. What fun memories. On this very same trip to Florida, my daughters grew closer to him. They shared some fun moments together at the movies, visiting the beaches, family dinners, and playing games at the arcade, getting to know each other better. Pauline, you left us too soon, but we know you will be watching over us as we keep you in our hearts and your memories alive. You will be deeply missed. Farewell, my beloved brother.
And now I believe Uncle Jason has a few words to say as well, so I'll pass it on to him.
Good afternoon. Thank you to everyone for coming together today in honor of my uncle, Pramechand Gopie. My name is Jason Dalkan, his eldest nephew, and I would like to say a few words on behalf of his nieces and nephews. Uncle Paul, or Paulin, as he was fondly known, was a caring, soft-spoken, patient, humble man, and his family was everything to him. He was always there for us. My siblings, Sheldon, Barry, Rachel, and I spent most of our childhood vacation with Uncle Paulin, and there was never a dull moment. He loved cricket and football, and would never hesitate to play a game of cricket with us before his afternoon shift to work. Whenever Uncle Paulin started his car to visit Auntie Vashti, his girlfriend at the time, we would all run towards the car knowing he would take us with him. Who wouldn't be excited to go with their uncle, knowing that there was a strong possibility of getting pizza or ice cream? When my sister, Rachel, was sad, Uncle Paulin knew exactly how to cheer her up. He took her to the grocery store and bought her snacks. He was always very patient and gentle towards her. And even though my uncle was very quiet, he was very humorous and fun to be around. Like the time we were at the beach and my brother Sheldon said to him, "I don't like to see so much water." Uncle Paulin replied, "Me neither, except when I'm thirsty." We all couldn't stop laughing after that. As we grew into adults, our bond never changed. I remember the time he came to Tobago and spent a week with me and my family. I was working there at the time. While everyone was asleep, Uncle Paulin and I woke up at 6 in the morning and head down to Store Bay for a sea bath, and then enjoyed breakfast of coconut bake and saltfish together. He knew how to have a good time, especially when he went on road trips with my brother Barry and my other uncles. My uncle loved spending time with his family and never missed a family gathering. Whenever the ice cream was sharing in Chickland, he would say, "Rachel, I want all the flavors." He was a very generous guy and was famous for his chips. He always brought bags of plantain chips to every occasion, which everyone enjoyed. When he visited me a few weeks ago, the very last time I saw him, he brought his famous plantain chips. Family gatherings will never be the same. Our family is grateful to have shared this short time with him. He will be dearly missed by his nieces and nephews, as he was more than an uncle. He was like a father, a friend, and a mentor. We had the perfect uncle. His smile was made of sunshine and his heart full of love. Even though he passed on, he will always be in our hearts, and his memories will live on until we meet again. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just to say a few words on behalf of our family and Uncle Paul. I remember his memories. I just watching this last Kofan here and a picture and him scrapping out of and fixing, knowing that, oh gosh, I feel we might have to go and buy a fan to practice on to fix. Man used to always fix everything home. You know, we could definitely miss him for that part. You know, and next thing is leaving today, watching in the coconut tree at home. There's some coconut and well, you know, Uncle Paul, he's the smallest out of everybody home. So he used to climb the ladder. Definitely me and Ajitan actually used to fight for rope to help him. You know, and you know, we could only have good memories. Remember when Uncle Paul now come with the cricket. You know, he and the late Uncle Kelvin from Batteria started playing cricket. And I side named Protesters. And two of them was the most eldest players. He used to open batting. Right, and Uncle Kelvin was the left hand belter, and you know, I always remember two of them used to always say, age and experience can beat youth. You know, and you know, we only have good memories with Uncle Paul. And last but not least, just one thing I would definitely be hard for me to explain to little Amia is when she come in, she used to always ask me Uncle Paul, and she go and give my bunks and a 5, and then go she. So she used to always remember him when she see that green van. She remember Uncle Paul, she know Uncle Paul home, she go give my bunks and start to play with Shishana and everybody else. You know, so just stay strong wherever his uncle, we go meet again.
Just informed that we have a couple more minutes again. Well, actually some time again. If anybody wants to come and see anything, feel free. The mic is open. You all are invited to come and say a few words as, you know, we close off. Alright, so to proceed with things, we would now move on to having everyone come and place our flowers and say our last words and pay our last respects. And then proceeding to that, we will then have one last viewing of the body. So feel free, everyone, to make your way up front and make your offer. So at this point, we conclude the ceremony here at DAS, and we would be proceeding to Belgroves in San Fernando. Everyone is invited to follow, but there is a restricted number that can enter. There is a restricted number at 5. The 5 people know yourselves, and we will be heading there in a short bit. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for coming, and the viewers as well for taking the time to view the ceremony. I would like to thank everyone from Trishana, Auntie Vashti, Auntie Asha, and everyone. All of us here are family, and everyone know each other. So the most you could say is thanks. And I hope that Uncle Paul is satisfied with everything that we have done today, and may his soul rest in peace. I would just like to reiterate, everyone could follow to Belgrove San Fernando, and we have the limited of 5 people to enter, and we all know ourselves.